Alright, welcome back. Last time I actually managed to get Niger off of a war with France. And now I think it's the perfect opportunity to also get the rest of Chad. Especially since no one else was particularly interested in supporting them anyway in the first place, so... Either of them. Partially because France is stuck inside of a giant European war. No, everyone but France is stuck inside of a giant European war. Italy versus the UK. Just look at it. Almost every great power is involved. With the exception of France. And every one of those great powers has a stake, except for the Confederate States, who have just, yeah. Head over to here. Don't mobilize just yet, though. Oh, of course they're actually these gets involved, because they thoroughly detest me. Oh, actually, it's more of they detest the Philippines. Get rid of those. They're in the way. What? Oh, come on! I was going to enjoy that. Alright, everyone go home. Still a truce with them, so I can't do anything about it. There actually isn't an issue in Somaliland. I don't know why it did that. Stuff happens, I guess. Spain might intervene. Nope, there was no need for an intervention. I generally need, at least in the urban stuff, I definitely want to turn off automation where I can. Instead of where it becomes absolutely necessary to maintain the automation. Like, annoyingly enough, the automobile industry. Yep, that's still ongoing. Any particular reason why I can't attack the Dutch Senegal? Alright, aren't they? No, they're not involved. Yes, they are. Okay, sort of. The Dutch are involved. There's no reason for me to be involved in here. This is ludicrous. Nor do they want to offer anything, so... Hmm. Am I still on the maximum level? Yes. I can't push that any harder. Nothing I can do about that. For the moment, at least. penalties are fading and things are starting to look like they should. Of course, it will take a long time for things to properly get underway again. Yeah, okay, so water plants are affected by the Sahel. It's considered agriculture, isn't it? Or maybe it's something else. Yeah, it's something else. Okay. Just be devastation. Yeah, it's just devastation. Okay. The throughput is boosted by the Sahel, so I really should construct some stuff though. Cosmetics are really halfway important. Okay, still there's the oil refineries. How many do I have again? There's another port location where I've built some. I know it. Wish I could get rid of the conscripts, but there's it's not a possibility. What was I looking for again? um. Oh yeah, oil refineries. Okay, so there's some in Chad, which were built back when things weren't guaranteed. The yeah, more there should increase throughput. I'm fairly certain some countries will get involved. India might help, but yeah, it's Germany, Russia seem to be the most likely. I can take both of them though, under the right circumstances. Germany has a lot of troops, but they tend to be somewhat poorly set up. They have MBTs, but they also have Lancers. Their tank setup is atrocious. Well, thanks for supporting the Syndicalists, whoever did that. Okay, so in theory, I would have to give up the Philippines. Yeah, no. So who else would be willing to get involved? It says that there's a second country on the list. Swayable countries. Oh, the Congo. Too low. Hostile. Yeah. Figured. Russia has not had that many reasons to like me recently, considering how often we butt heads in the process. The biggest single issue is how long that front line is. Is there a small state I can grab? Dutch Eastern New Guinea. No. Dutch Senegalese Windward Coast. That's tiny. Dutch Senegalese Ghana. There it is. Eastern Mali is for some reason only 8 infamy. Considering how valuable that state is to its opium. And there's the German involvement. I was wondering when that was going to occur. That should be enough. That's why I have an aerospace industry here. To help deal with the issues. Right now there's not too many militaries that are set up there, so... Developed country. That gives me another max company slot. Of course it slows down economic development even further, at least normally, but... More companies is good, especially with the fact that I can set up oil now. Armies will eventually get themselves set up. More of them. Because I can't believe that's all of them. Yeah, it's nowhere near all of them. And even then, under those circumstances, I'm considered to have an advantage on the front. Which just goes to show the sheer effectiveness of my mobilization. Also very fun. Oh yeah, I need to check my defensive militaries to make sure all of them have, well, proper settings. No offensive assistance, please. It gets in the way. There we go. Okay. Okay, for a second there I saw 129 ships and that was scary. Okay, those are armies. That was a thought. That was very much a thought. But Timbuktu is the most valuable stack of grab, largely from the oil. But it also gives me access over to here, to Massini, in order to conquer the rest, as well as the, well, Western Mali. I can finally take over these states. It's a much easier fight, among other things. Other advantages to doing this. More rubber throughput. Yeah, I could really use that rubber. I could use more construction. Arc welding would use up power, but... Yep, and I've already occupied Dutch Senegalese Ghana. General died. Oh boy. Okay, so let me fix. Okay, it's one that's not mobilized, so it's not nearly as big of a deal as it could have been. Okay, that is a scary amount of ships. Fine. I will concede for the moment. I'll not. Power plants are still hiring, but, well, they'll easily produce enough electricity for all that, anyway. Yeah, the real problem is the sheer amount of time it takes to get everyone hired. Okay, swap to defending for a while. You need to recover your manpower. If I somehow manage to win that fight, that's gonna be amazing. I know I will deal more damage to them than they will deal to me. That's guaranteed. The question is, can I deal that much damage to them? I do have supply issues for the moment. Oh wow, I might actually win this. Oh, poor visibility. That's not good. Although then again, I do have so many buffs to offense that minus 25% actually isn't that bad. Since my numbers are already amazingly good. At least on raw quantity alone. I could use more entertainment. There. Definitely uses up quite a bit of electricity production though. But I've got plenty of heavy fuel, so. Just add 2 levels, that's good. For now. For now. Well, the battery plant's looking decent. And it does seem that it's being automatically expanded at a reasonable pace. Unlike stuff like tools or steel. That stuff goes way too quickly. Sky high. We could use more chemicals. Sulfur quantities are in fact fine though, so I'm not too worried. Same with the munitions. I actually have a reasonable... Wait. Oh. That's interesting. Very interesting. It's a possibility. But, well, another time perhaps. I could definitely use more wires though. Oh, is electric components looking... I could use a few more. Let's have 3 levels here, and then a few levels in this one, which produces just the wires. There. That should fix any issues. Oh, they're trying to attack. Well, it's a good thing that I ensure that my... I'm actually winning this. It's a good thing that I ensure that my defensive armies do not attack unless absolutely necessary. Which, surprisingly, actually helps with a lot of stuff. Like ensuring defensive stability. That my defensive armies are actually capable of handling anything that gets thrown at them. Which is not a guarantee. So this setup definitely helps on that front. I have not lost a single battle yet. The Dutch are rapidly losing more support, but I do need to occupy Timbuktu if I want to. Oh, hey, Bundeli have come in. Yes, I do need to occupy Timbuktu. Yeah, that attack had spent that army. Ooh, those are bad circumstances to attack. I still have more offense. No, but that's an impressive defensive situation they put themselves into. Though it's weird with the promote socialist values that the market liberals only get minus 30% interest group reduction, while the left liberals get minus 60%. As well as the social democrats get minus 60%. I'm not totally sure why. It might be immigrant nationalists, maybe? Nice try, Russia. Well, a few people are coming in. Yeah, I don't know why the combat width is so utterly massive in Timbuktu. There's just something to it. Something very odd to it. Anyway, now that that's in place, I can start producing uranium glass specifically. The thing is, a lot of that porcelain production comes from trade centers, so as I start swapping over to porcelain, to uranium glass, it should remain reasonably, it should get productive again, because the trade centers will stop importing as much. I'm sorry, but I'm a little busy at the moment. Apparently the business movements, the business interests now support that. Yeah, you're the ones that's really hit or miss with this. Okay, that's temporary, hopefully. Because low orc is really bad. And there we go. The thing is, I do actually need to continue attacking in order to keep their any troops that could be on an offensive down. So, wait, is Morocco a Russian protectorate? Yeah, Russia doesn't have decolonization. Yeah, that does explain a lot. Oh, that's bad. I'm not sure why this was on this side. I need to mobilize defensive armies to assist. Okay, so that does confirm that I do lack some level of staying power. That's fine though. I just need to convince the Dutch to give up those territories, and then Germany would have to naval invade. Either by getting the Dutch to capitulate, which won't take super duper long considering their casualty levels. Number of voters seems to have. The number of votes seems to have reduced somewhat. There, they all went to. They all went to the Syndicalist, didn't they? Plus 20% to oil rig throughput here? Oh joy. I'll happily take that. It is nice to have extra oil production available. There we go. Okay. Yeah, they're mainly focused on getting the oil rigs under their control, the company. And they'll get the refineries eventually. They'll get them, don't worry. Very well. I shouldn't worry about it. Simply hope I shouldn't worry about it. I really do need to set up more pharmaceuticals, don't I? Well, there's plenty of population available for that sort of thing here. That's going to eat up a lot of water, but poor glass. But I'm sure I can handle it. Yeah, I definitely need more glass production. I wonder how much uranium is needed on the world market. Quite a bit. Okay. Why are you if you're anarcho-syndicalist, why are you supporting the Communist Party and not the Anarchist Party? I somehow managed to win that fight. I'm not entirely sure how. I've only lost 4.9% of battles. Yeah. Of course, casualties are definitely building up. But I've got a huge population, so it's still smaller than the number of unemployed people. My military size. Yeah, pretty much as I figured. I'm dumping huge quantities into the market now. Yeah, this probably should give me a lot of room to maneuver. Like some actual fishing wars, probably. I can't manage that until the revolution finally decides to die down. Yeah, things like this are ridiculous. Somehow I deal so much morale damage just from sheer offensive shock that this happens. 3.3k troops are somehow winning against 28k troops. Just from sheer demoralization of the enemy. Like, to some degree, it's like they know they're completely outmatched. Pack of miscreants indeed. There. Right where they belong. Below the Conservative Party. That prestige buff is quite nice. 100 prestige is nothing to sneeze at. Well, it wasn't anything to sneeze at. They'll capitulate soon enough. It's just gonna take like 6 weeks, 5 weeks, closer to 5, I'd say. Yeah, 5 weeks. 5 weeks and they're gone. The real problem is Germany. The other reason why I can't push through the peace deal, because Germany is still fairly into it. Besides, Russia has that much war support. But it's fading. At the very least, it means my own states are getting less and less devastated. Heck, Ghana only has 1.1% devastation. Yeah, 2 more weeks. Right, and then it's likely that they will just capitulate. There, 5 fishing wars. And some natural gas rigs, which do require rail transportation. There's no way around it. Okay, I wonder how much that is imports for the trades. Barely any. Okay. Right, this is the reject army for the things that I don't want. Yeah, my military is somewhat devastated from that. It is entirely correct that I can handle this, a war like that, but not for that long. I'm going to demobilize any offensive armies in order to further save on resources. I'll keep these active for a while longer, just in case someone decides to... Germany decides to do some fun with naval invasions. Although I doubt it's going to take long enough to become a problem. Oh yeah, I do need to handle this. Yeah, it's mass scale trading. No diesel pump. Sure where the electricity demand's coming from. Is it just pops? Yeah. Alright, just give it time. It'll pull itself back together. Reasonably soon. Is that war still ongoing? Yes. Why, Russia? We are involved in 4 different wars. Yeah, I'll just wait for the war to peter out and call for the session. At least I'll try to do that. No guarantees. I do have a history of things going wrong with that. Just keep going, just keep going. Oh, hey. A successful war. I should be able to get to a reasonable amount of rigidity. The Brewing Revolution is genuinely problematic, but... Not much I can do about it now. Except wait it out. The support will slowly decay. If I go off of jingoism, they're not going to be happy, are they? Yep. Plus 15% from the number of claims. It's just one. I have just one claim. And the British are just a bit too big for me to fight off. Maybe. And again, they've lost a lot of their subjects, and they're only great power number 3. Russia, on the other hand, has a lot. I was able to handle it. Germany has a lot too. So, you know, maybe it's the better option. It's just that the UK is a very scary thing to fight. For multiple reasons. Well, I've actually managed to get quite a bit of territory. Sadly, I wasn't able to get this, but Tripolitania has finally gotten its independence from France, so this should be easy to gain, to conquer. Same with this. I am dealing with a rather annoying fascist movement, though. So, if I can get this claim, they'll quiet down, but that's fighting against the British. Admittedly, the British are busy, so maybe? The problem is they're allied with the US and the Confederates, and Japan and Mexico have a defensive pact. So if I try this... the US might intervene. Japan seems a bit too distant. So I might be able to get the state back. Of course, I would also want to have this state as well, but Niger Delta is just too expensive, so. And there's also the fact that, well, the Congo is once again, the truce has ended, so they're open for the business of conquest. But I now have most of the oil-producing states in the region. There might be a... okay, there's some oil here, some oil there, a bit of oil here. I could really use that iron, actually. But yes, I've taken the rest of Ghana, the Dutch Senegal had, as well as all of Timbuktu. Funny enough, Eastern Mali is actually pretty cheap infamy-wise, despite the fact that it has 200 Stuarts academies. But yeah, the good shortages are fading, so... so there is a lot of unemployment here, annoyingly. But there's not much I can do about it. I'm actually done with Tier 6 military tech, and now Tier 7 is starting to come in, which includes helicopters, which are one of the few defensive buffs. They also provide morale recovery and recovery, right? So I'm probably going to turn that on for everything. Yay, more warplanes to produce. But yes. I've also finally annexed that subject in Somaliland, so... although that has caused some minor issues. But that should fade, right? It's another 3 years. Yeah, that's gonna take a while. I'm not used to being able to demand annexation under these circumstances, because that's something that can happen. But yes, I am slowly trying to work my way through the subjects. That I might end up releasing them under a Commonwealth style thing, maybe, I don't know. My main focus needs to be Africa, because that's the stuff that I can readily control. My subjects out here are just to further help refine my own economy, and to give them something to work towards, like oil production. Yeah, the uranium mine is surprisingly effective considering I don't have many uses for it outside of uranium class. That's the only use I have for it. But uranium is used in the rest of the world for multiple things. And people are buying it up. The American market wants is like half the demand. And I don't produce that much of it anyway, so... It's enough demand for things to get going, so that's good. I might start using dynamite. It would have to wait here. Okay, I need to stop. Yeah, that has caused some issues with my military, though. There's definitely some level of recovery needed. Too much manpower has faded. A lot of people died in that war. My population's still utterly massive. My pop growth has hit 2% now. Which is strange, considering I haven't done that much. All that happened is that the level of healthcare, late 20th century medicine, is now at minus 5% mortality. And I keep getting minus mortality. So it's probably the demographic stage, really, more so than anything else, because my standard of living is more than 10 over the optimal amount for pop growth. Of course, I'm still a little ways below some countries. I just don't have the productive capability to get that high yet. I'm still working on it. I'll probably work towards the tier 6 techs before I start looking into the tier 7 military techs. Because main battle techs will require televisions, and while I do have a consumer electronics industry set up, I can't actually produce TVs until I have the cathode tube, which is tier 6. I can't even do the building unless I have rudimental appliances, which is also tier 6. But based on that, yeah, here and here. The cathode tube allows me to start producing televisions. And I need the televisions, one each per main battle tank. Then I can start handling it. Of course, that's also going to start increasing military rages and reducing kill rate. I'm fine with the reduction of kill rate because, generally speaking, I conquer territory in wars rather than do things like get war reps and whatnot. So it's not that bad, but still. Plus, society tech is, on the one hand, quite a few of the society techs, as you go down, give you extra tech spread. The problem is, look at that plus 0.5 yearly weekly liberty desire for all subjects. That's not something I can work around. But there are tech spread buffs hidden away in here. There it is. There's 30 plus 33% tech spread. Here's plus 50% tech spread for non-military stuff. It will help me catch up, but I don't like that liberty desire thing. Though I might just accept it and state that these subjects I'm not going to be able to annex them, and I should just let go of them at some point. They're nice to have, but I do need to let go at some point. But that's something for later. I definitely need to think on that one before I make any decision. Anyway, I'll see you again next time. Till then, bye.